So many marriages are actually going through a lot in our society today. Like a lot of people are facing so many different things in their marriages in our society today. There are people that are just in their marriage just because of what people will say. There are people in their marriages because of their children. There are people still in their marriages because of, money. It could be anything. There are so many people that are married, wishing and waiting for the day they will be single again. But they are just there because of one reason or another. There are some bad habits that when you exhibit, it shows that your marriage is not healthy. Or when your partner exhibits such habits continuously, it shows that your marriage is not healthy. So that is what I'm going to be talking about today. But before I start, please, if you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also like and comment on my videos as well. Thank you so much for that. So what are some of those habits that shows that your marriage is not healthy? When you love your job more than your spouse, when your job is now a priority over your spouse, over your family, that is a bad habit. Your job shouldn't come before your spouse. Your job shouldn't come in between your marriage, between that relationship, between you and your partner. You understand? It shouldn't. You can build your home and build your career as well. One thing you need to understand and carry at the back of your mind, that organization, that company you're working for, just know that you will not be there forever. You will not be in that office forever. No matter how good you are, one day you will leave that office. So don't be the type of person that will carry his or her job on the head and neglect your spouse, your children, your family because you're building career. No, it's very wrong. You can build your home and build your career as well. Create a balance. Find out what works for you. Yes, I'm talking to both the married men and the married women. You should not and never put your job before your family, before your spouse. It is very, very wrong, and it's a very bad habit. When you and your spouse go to bed at different times, it is also a bad habit. Yes, because I understand that maybe your work schedules might be different, but try as much as you can at least not to go to bed before your spouse comes back from work. Yes, all these things is planning. Plan yourself. Now the both of you must have been busy all through the day. It is that night, that's the only time you get to know how his or her day went, how your spouse is doing, how their day went, how what happened at work, all those things. That is when you guys get to talk about how everything is going. Now if you now form the habit of always going to bed even before your spouse gets back, going to bed at different times, there is this gap that will be between the both of you, because both of you will get used to not knowing how each other is doing, how your day went, how work is, all those things. They are very important. They might look small and not necessary to you, but these things, little things, actually matters in marriage a lot. Another bad habit is when you have two faces. Yes, if you're the type of person that when you're at work, you're always smiling, you're happy, you crack jokes, you relate with your colleagues 100%, you're always making everybody laugh, you always, you have this right attitude to work, you're a very cool and nice person. But you're something else at home. As in, once you enter house like this, once you enter your house like this, man, everybody begins to take cover. Like everybody's afraid that you're back, especially the fathers. Like, don't be that type of person. It's a very bad habit that outside your home, you're of your best character, you're a very nice person. But when you're at home like this, it's as if a monster is at home. Like a devil just entered the house. Everybody is afraid that you're back. It's very bad. It's very wrong. It is not supposed to. And a lot of homes are actually like this. Their mom or their dad, once they enter the house like this, bam, everybody begins to take cover, everybody begins to hide, everybody begins to act all strange. No, the home shouldn't be like that. Your children should be in the habit of welcoming you with a smile, a laugh, a hug when you get back home. Be the man, be the woman. Yes, there is time to be harsh and strict to a child, but don't be the type of person, don't be the type of parent that your children will be seeing you as a terror, a monster in the home. It shows that your marriage is not healthy. Another bad habit is when you feel at home at work and you feel at work at home. Let me explain. When you feel at home while you're working in your office or wherever your business is, but when you're now at home, you feel at work. By this, I mean you don't like home. You feel like you feel at home whenever you're working, whenever you're outside the home. You detest coming back home. You detest spending time in your own house, in your own home with your family. It is very wrong. After a long day at work, every day, and you don't find anything that will make you go back home, after being so stressed out at work, you don't even wish to go home, then there is something wrong with your marriage. Yes, I need to find out what the problem is and get a solution as soon as possible, because you shouldn't be the type of person or spouse that will detest going back home after work. It's a very bad habit. Sleeping in different rooms as couples is also another bad habit. I've come to realize and observe that so many couples sleep in different rooms for various reasons. Some could be snoring, it could be bad sleeping habits, it could be poor hygiene, all these things. Various couples with their own reasons for not wanting to share a room. But no matter what the reason is, it is not actually right to sleep in different rooms as couples. When you, as a married man or as a married woman, you love your parents and siblings more than your spouse, that is another very bad habit. Yes. The love that you have for your parents and your siblings is not the same with the love you have for your spouse. So that it is very wrong when you value your parents and siblings more than your spouse. Everybody should have a place in your heart. Yes, and in your life as well. So you should love them the way they are meant to be loved, and value them as well. There shouldn't be first position and second position, like your parents taking first, your parents and siblings taking first when it comes to your love and care, and your spouse is taking last. It's very wrong. Let them be valued and loved the way they ought to be. There is no need for comparison. There is no need for loving one party more than the other. It's not necessary. In fact, when you begin to love your parents and your siblings more than your spouse, it shows that there is something that you're getting wrong in your marriage. When you love your children more than your spouse, it is an error. Yes. The love that you have for your spouse and the love that you have for your children is not the same. So there shouldn't be a more than, you loving this more than this. No. Everything should be balanced. Love your spouse and love your children. Yes. In fact, your spouse should always come first. Because before those children came into that marriage, into that home, it was just the both of you. The both of you fell in love, dated, courted, got married. It was just the both of you. Maybe after some months or years of getting married, those children started coming. So why would you shift the love from your spouse to your children? It is very wrong. And when those children grow up and get married, they will leave you and it will just be the both of you in that home again. So it is very wrong of you to shift the love that you have for your spouse to your children. The children should be loved the way they ought to be loved, and your spouse should be loved the way he or she ought to be loved. There should be no misplacing of priorities. Your spouse should always be your priority. Another bad habit is when you talk with your spouse but you don't communicate. Now, in this, there is this absence of dialogue. In marriage, talking and communicating are two different things. Yes, talking is more like you just telling your spouse something. But when you communicate, you talk and you listen, you exchange ideas, exchange information. That is communication. So it's very, very important that you communicate, don't just talk. Because when you talk and you just keep talking and talking and talking, you guys don't communicate, you end up making the both of you to have different goals, different plans for the future. When there is no communication, the life in that marriage will not be there. Imagine when you guys don't communicate. When you want to tell your spouse something, you just say it, drop it there and go your way. It's very bad. The dialogue is missing. Communication is missing, and it is very important for every successful marriage. It is indispensable for every successful marriage. So communication should always be there. The dialogue is very, very important. So don't just talk, don't just give commands. Learn to communicate. Learn to talk and listen to your spouse. Another bad habit is when there are hidden purchases. Yes, when there are some things that when you buy or you acquire in the room, you keep it away from your spouse. You hide it, knowing fully well that it is wrong for you to hide it. And when you know, as you know that it's wrong, then why do you keep doing it? It is very wrong of you to, maybe you bought something in the house, or maybe you bought a land, or you bought a house, and you're keeping it away from your spouse. In fact, you even go as far as hiding the document very far from your spouse. You don't let your spouse know. You don't even show your spouse anything. A lot of things, you keep those things away from your spouse. Believe it or not, such character weakens your marriage, because the name of that attitude is financial infidelity. Yes, it shows that you don't trust your spouse, and your spouse is not even worthy of your trust. That is what that character shows. Because such things is wrong. Such attitude is very wrong. Because if your spouse does such thing to you, you wouldn't like it. So why do it? So it is a very bad habit when you purchase something and you don't let your spouse know. I mean, this person is your better half. So why keep such important information from your spouse? It is a very bad habit. Another very bad habit is when you're careless about your appearance. Yes, years of marriage may pass, but your care for your appearance should never pass, especially the women. Try and recall all those times when you guys were still courting, when you guys weren't married. Anytime your spouse wants to ask you out, you will make your hair, you will bathe, wear nice clothes, smell nice, look beautiful for him. But now that you're married, you feel that all those things are not necessary. Like, it doesn't mean, my dear, it is very much necessary. In fact, the more the time passes in your marriage, the more beautiful you should look. Yes. Learn to take care of yourself. Always be neat, dress nice, smell nice, both at home and outside. Don't be careless about your appearance anywhere and anytime, both in the night and in the day. It's very important. Don't be the type of woman that once she gets married, she becomes careless about her appearance, knowing fully well that her appearance is one of the things that even drew that man to her in the first place. So it's very wrong of you to begin to disregard that thing that you know that is one of the things that man love about you. And also the men, you shouldn't be careless about your appearance as well. Learn to take care of yourself as a man. Keep clean, keep neat, smell nice as well. It's very, very important for both the man and the woman. Don't be careless about your appearance at any day and at any time. Another bad habit is when you don't trust each other. I can't imagine being in a marriage with someone I don't trust. It is not right at all. It is very wrong of you to marry someone you don't trust. When there is no trust, there should be no relationship. No trust, no marriage. Trust is very, very, very important. If you don't trust your partner will not trust you. And when the both of you don't trust each other, there is this insecurity in your marriage, and there is this lack of peace of mind that will be in your marriage. And it will make you guys to be having all these unnecessary fights that can be avoided if you guys just learn to trust each other. If you guys trusted each other from the very start. I get it that, along the line, it could be that maybe something happened and that made your partner, or that made you lose the trust that you have for your partner, that made the trust between the both of you get damaged. But you need to understand that forgiveness is very, very important, and you have to learn to let go, because trust is very, very important. Because if there is no trust, the both of you will feel insecure with each other, both physically, emotionally, financially, and otherwise. So it's very important that you learn to trust each other in that marriage. When you always complain and nag over everything in the home, it is a very terrible and common habit. Yes, everything just seems to be unsatisfactory to you. Everything has a problem in the home. Everything is insufficient to you. It is very bad, and nagging can become a very bad habit that can lead to addiction. And when you're addicted to nagging, there is this atmosphere you will be always creating in the home. Like, you even make your spouse to be tired of you. As a woman, you always nag. You nag that your husband doesn't give you enough money. You nag that he doesn't help you with house chores. You nag that the children are not in their best behavior. You nag. Even when the man helps you, you say he's not doing it well. You nag about everything. If he helps you, problem. If he doesn't help you, problem. If he brings money, it's too small. If he doesn't bring money, problem. Everything you nag. It is very wrong. Nag as well. There are men that can nag even more than women. They can complain. Your woman is not looking good. If she decides to go and make her hair, you say she's spending all your money, but you complain that she's not looking good. If she cooks food, you say it's not delicious. Or you bring money so that the food will be made very well. You say you don't have money, that she wants to waste your money. All those things. You complain that the children are not behaving well, but you cannot even assist to make sure that those children do the right thing at home. If your wife spends money, problem, you say she's wasting money. If she doesn't spend money, you say she doesn't want to spend money, and she wants to go and tell people that you don't give her money. There are men that behave like that. This thing is from the mindset. Men nag, women nag. So it is very, very bad, and it can be really annoying when you have a partner that nags a lot, that complains over everything, whether good or bad. It can be really irritating. So please, if you're a married man, you're a married woman, and you have this habit of always nagging in the home, please consciously and intentionally begin to work on yourself, because there is this atmosphere that you're creating in your home that over the years, after some time, you will begin to notice and understand that it's very bad. Like the whole family will just be fed up with your attitude, and by that time it might be too late, because this kind of thing can affect the love between you and your spouse, because it can make your spouse get tired of you. Another very bad and common and annoying habit is when you always report your spouse to outsiders. It's very bad, and I've noticed this a lot in so many marriages. I've noticed it. When you're always in the habit of reporting your spouse to every human being that cares to listen, it's very bad. In fact, it's a sign of immaturity. It's a sign that something is wrong with you and something is wrong with your marriage. If you have a problem with your spouse, you can talk to your spouse about it. Why reporting your spouse to outsiders? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Even if you want to, lay a complaint about your spouse's character, it shouldn't be to outsiders. There should be maybe one or two people, maybe the parents or close friends, that you can just simply tell, not to report, but to tell that person to give you advice, or maybe to advise your spouse about his or her character. Not reporting your spouse to outsiders. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's very wrong. It's a very bad habit. Last but not the least is when you're not loyal to each other in that marriage. It's a very bad habit. Imagine husband and wife not being loyal to each other. Like, it's very common in so many homes in our society today. I don't know why. And it's really wrong. When you're not loyal to your partner, when you're in the habit of always speaking ill about your partner in his or her absence, it's very bad. When you're the type that, do bad things against your partner behind their backs, only to show up in the home or show up in the presence of your partner and begin to display fake love, it's very, very wrong. Imagine how your partner will feel when they find out. It is very, very bad. It's a habit you should try as much as you can to stop indulging in. And finally, for today's episode, the last habit I'll be talking about today is when you don't make intimacy a priority in your marriage. It's a very bad habit. Because intimacy is important in every marriage. So when it is not prioritized, it shows that, and it is a sign that there is something wrong with your marriage. Intimacy is like the cement of every matrimony. It is like the special ingredient of every marriage. It is that thing that spices up marriage. It is that thing that binds your marriage together. So when you don't prioritize it, problems are bound to happen. There are so many little problems in the home that comes up, all because intimacy is not prioritized. So it's very important that that part of your marriage is being cared for properly. I could go on and on and on. There are so many bad habits in so many marriages in our society today. But I'm going to stop here for now. So that is all for today's episode. Thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you so much for listening. And please, if you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also like and comment on my videos. See you in my next episode. Thank you so much for watching.